It's my honor to share this stage with such an amazing faculty, and everyone here is much more amazing than I am, so it's really an honor. Hello everyone, my name is Shaun Boyle, and it is my honor to stand before you today representing our cohort. I want to start off by saying thank you to the entire faculty that has gotten us this far. Denise, thank you for feeding us all kinds of yummy foods. You have no idea how much that means to me. Marcia, thank you for making it so I'd always remember that when a patient is receiving chemotherapy, I should stay away from the butt. Melody, thank you for understanding that most of us cannot hold our bladders for longer than 4 hours yet. And Lynn, thanks for putting up with all of us gung-ho nursing students with ICU capstones. To all the rest of the faculty, there are countless other memories I could share. Let's suffice it to say, thanks for making nursing school fun, somehow. To all our friends and family, thanks for putting up with being there for those pharmacology test nightmares, for dealing with finding saline flushes everywhere. And thank you for being our standardized patients, faking wheezes and crackles for us while we clumsily palpated for your pedal pulses. Now to the cohort. In addition to our nursing accomplishments, I wanted to take some time to reflect on some of our extracurriculars. From getting down in Zumba to feasting during our potluck lunch. From finding our inner peace in Tai Chi to annihilating our sun sensitivity pinata. We have done a lot together. I mean, where would our class be without Justine's Facebook postings to lighten the study mood? Or how about Logan, who happily volunteered to be the front row guinea pig for all the lecturers? I don't know about any of you, but Noelle's megaphone of a mom voice to calm the class down still wakes me up better than any number of espresso shots. And I'd like to thank Chris Beck for always having a perfectly timed and hilariously random anecdote to lighten the class lectures. Gabriella, I think we are all going to miss your chronic hiccups. And I think we all know who the class couple really is. Danny and Jared. Of course, I cannot let myself off the hook as I think back on all the funny moments. I remember accidentally stabbing myself with a needle after failing to read the sign, "Do not recap needles." Now I know why that's a rule. I remember trying to speak Spanish to a standardized patient who didn't speak Spanish. And neither did I. Also, when I successfully started an arterial line on accident. And finally, I tried to give a urinal to a poor woman to collect a urine sample. And I quickly realized why she couldn't accept it. Now, in all seriousness, that went really quick, didn't it? Or maybe it's just because our lack of sleep made it all blur together. We've been through hell and high water, but we can now proudly say that we're nurses. In all honesty, every single one of us deserves to be up here speaking, because that's just how good we are. Our cohort was so hard to get into that there were hundreds of entries, and only 60 some of us were chosen. If you don't believe that it was competitive, we could show all the classes' masters and PhDs and other previous degrees. Some of us are hardcore moms and dads that somehow managed to go to school and care for their families. And then some of us worked full-time jobs to be able to provide for ourselves and others. And I'd like to acknowledge the people in our class who have served in our military and are still serving our country with honor as they continue on their service here. I have unending respect and gratitude for you. And then we proved we deserved to be here by working hard, in spite of extremely difficult circumstances. I could mention many examples, but one of them that stands out was a classmate of ours who somehow finished her 3rd semester despite being diagnosed with cancer. I have so much respect for her hard work and resilience. Others of us battled extremely difficult illnesses such as diabetes. And then there were others of us who have lost family members, endured our own tragedies, and still came to class with our heads held high, ready to learn. I personally experienced my dad getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and not a good prognosis. I feel blessed to have had such caring people who surrounded me with love during that time when everything felt uncertain. Excuse me. He is now in remission, and I couldn't be happier that he is here, able to watch me take my next step in life. When I thought about how to address such an amazing group of my peers, one thing stood out in my mind. I am completely blown away by the compassion of the members in this cohort. I have seen every single one of us step up and selflessly care for people from all different walks of life, even when it was difficult to do so. I have seen people get on the floor and comfort a patient by holding their hand and stroking their hair as they face the end of their life. I have seen a classmate comfort frantic parents who had just found out their 4-year-old little girl was diagnosed with leukemia. I myself had an eye-opening experience when a man was rushed into the VA emergency department with a ruptured bladder. He was in an undeniable amount of pain, and there was nothing we could do for him in that moment. All I could do was squeeze his hand. We've all been put in tough situations where we have had the opportunity to respond in the way nurses do best, and that is to just be there. The nurse is the one who is always a comforting presence, a listening ear, and a reassuring hand. And we know if there is nothing else we can do, we can always just sit and cry with our patients in the face of their fear and pain. This is why we all chose nursing. As I considered my future career, I chose nursing as the next stepping stone, specifically because of how this profession can change lives and save people both physically and emotionally. It is certainly not for the money, prestige, or comfort. There is nothing more rewarding than what I get to do every day as a nurse, and that is putting others before myself. As I think about our futures, I am filled with hope as I know that people like this will disperse into every part of the healthcare system. Our legacy will be found in the minds of others and the stories they share about you. So begin now by showing the love that will be etched into their hearts and minds. There is one more who I need to thank. Someone who has helped me through everything. That is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He has helped me even when my future looked bleak. You see, I wasn't supposed to be here standing before you, speaking. I have not always been the greatest student. Middle school consisted of countless after-school sessions with teachers that helped me to just get by. I graduated high school with a 2.5 GPA and an ACT score of 18, which wasn't even high enough to get into the U. My story has been filled with failure, but God did not allow me to be satisfied with that. Failure in His eyes was just the thing to get me to where I needed to be. A person once asked the famous sculptor Michelangelo how he made his statue of King David. He was reputed to have said, "He just took away the parts that weren't David." Every block of stone has a statue inside of it, he said. And it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. You are your own sculptors of your futures. We will all face failures in our careers, but allow those to be the tools that chip away all at what is unnecessary so that your true masterpiece can be revealed. With that, I am so proud to be a part of this class of 2016. Thank you so much.
Fantastic students we have. Our next speaker is